If you're out on the road,
feeling like you want a podcast, all you have to do is type in Drunk of the Book, and you'll find us
where you lead, we will be there.
Anywhere that you want us to. Hey, Olivia.
Hi, Ashley.
Welcome to Drunk of the Book Club,
a podcast for lonely, drunk bookcasters. Cheers! Ding, 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 ding,
clink. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a nice black cherry White Claw. So fancy. Yeah, very classy. What about you?
I am drinking a bubble bath hard smoothie pina colada flavor from Alvarado Street Brewery. Sponsor us, please. Local brewery to the Monterey Peninsula.
You know, when you mentioned that before we started recording, I thought that sounded nasty. And then you showed it to me, and it looks very delicious.
It is very delicious. It is essentially just a sparkling seltzer with fruit juices of pineapple and coconut. It's really good.
I really did imagine like a naked juice, but in a can and alcoholic. It's like, oh, no.
No, it is like fully sweet. Like, I would not describe it as like a juice. I would, like a, juicing juice. I would fully describe it as like sweet fruit juice.
I love it. It looks delicious. And I love a pina colada.
Hopefully one day you can try it. Yeah.
I'll see if they can mail me some to New York when they sponsor us.
Yes, when Alvarado Street Brewery sponsors us, hopefully we can be drinking Alvarado Street Brewery drinks as we record. I'm not going to stop saying their name now because if they want me to say it again,
money. It's fine. We don't need money, but we'll take drinks.
Hell yeah. Yes.
What did we read?
We read Mexican Gothic, a New York Times bestseller by Sylvia Moreno-Garcia. Mm-hmm. And what was it about?
So I looked up how it was described online, and it's described as a Gothic horror, which makes sense. But I was like trying to figure out exactly what realm it was in. So yeah, it's a Gothic horror novel. That takes place in Mexico in the 50s. And it essentially is about this young socialite from Mexico City named Noemi, who is sent to check in on her cousin, Catalina, right? In this like small kind of distant village in Mexico. Yeah. Her father sends her there after getting some distressing notes delivered from her cousin, essentially saying that there's some bad stuff happening there. Her new husband is trying to murder her, is a creep, and she doesn't know what's happening. Yeah. And so the uncle, Noemi's father, sends his young daughter down there to go check in on her.
Oh, right.
Which doesn't quite make sense to me, but yeah, let's do that. And so she goes...
Well, it was like, she's prone to depression. She's had sadness before.
It's a lady in the 50s. She has some hysterics, so we're just going to send another lady down to make sure that she's telling the truth and that she's not just having a fit of sadness. And so she goes down there. She is staying with her cousin and the cousin's new married into family, and it's called High House where they live. And essentially she starts learning about there's all these things happening. She sees that something is wrong with her cousin outside of what they say, which is tuberculosis. Noemi starts having weird things happen to her, weird dreams. Sleepwalking again, and it's essentially the story of her figuring out what's going on.
Yes.
Without giving away all the things.
Yes.
Which I will give away later, but...
Yes. It's like very, I think, classic Gothic theme and like structure of like young woman in an unfamiliar, like dark and damp home with standoffish hosts who she doesn't know or trust. Like, very strict
rules and
yeah. A lot of that stuff that you would expect to read in like in a Gothic.
Yeah. This has been on my mind since the minute I opened the book. I wanted to see if you've got the same thing. But it reminded me so much of the Yellow Wallpaper. Did you read that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So, I definitely felt Yellow Wallpaper, some, like, Jane Eyre, some Turn of the Screw, like, a lot of the classics.
It was, like, as soon as they got that letter, it was, we hadn't even gotten to the part about there being weird things with the wallpaper yet.
In the wallpaper, the actual wallpaper, yes. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it reminds me of Yellow Wallpaper. And then when we got there, I was like, oh my god, yeah. Yes. I would say that that's kind of one of the only things that made me not, like, absolutely love the book, was I feel like I could guess every step of the way what was going to be happening.
Okay.
Like,
because of the wallpaper?
Partially, and then just it was like my same, not to compare this lovely woman with Steinbeck, but it's overly like descriptive almost. Like I was like, okay, so she's in a dark, damp house on the top of the hill where there's fog. It's going to be mold. Okay, and then there's going to be mushrooms. Like, and then as soon as they were like, oh, here's these mushrooms, I was like, okay, well, we know that mushrooms have weird effects on people, so
yeah.
You know, the very end, I think, was, like, a little bit more shocking. Yeah. But, like, the whole time I was like, okay, yeah, got it, cool, great.
Yeah.
But I did, it was still very fun to read, you know? It was still, like, a page-turner and...
Totally. I agree.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel like the actual mechanics of moving the plot forward, like you said, is like, okay, yeah. I don't think I was, like, overly shocked at any point. Mm-hmm. Disturbed, yes. Like, some very disturbing, like, scenes and themes and shit going down. Like, at points I was like, oh, this is fucking creepy. Yeah. This is not right. But, I agree with you that I wasn't like... I could have never imagined. I was kind of like, okay. Like, by the time we had reveals, I don't know if I, at the same point as you, like, so early on, was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be mold, mushroom, that kind of stuff. But by the time we actually got to the reveal, I was like, yes. Yeah. I'm already, yes.
I'm already,
that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. No, I think the same thing. I mean, when I was like, okay, it's gonna be mold, okay, it's gonna be mushrooms. That makes me sound way more confident in my thinking than I was, but I wasn't like page 1 being like... You should have
written it down so you could be like, page 26, I wrote my prediction, here it is, and I was correct.
I should have, except it was the last book I got on my iPad, so no ability to do that. But yeah, so I was not like page 2 being like, I know exactly what's gonna happen, but it was... Definitely in my mind, I was like, okay, this could be an option, this could be a possibility. And when we got there, it was like,
yes,
I agree. Yeah, there was some dark things happening in that book. Some stuff I did not expect, like the stuff with Virgil, like coming up to her in the bathtub, like forcing himself on her. That was shocking and not... expected at all. That was very dark. And then there was also just like visually very disturbing things too, like
totally
what's his name, what was his name, the like dad, the grandpa or whatever, Howard. Okay, yeah, there was a lot of names. I will say that was one part where I was like, okay, wait, who are you? Who's Doyle? Okay, wait, who's Ruth? Okay. But Howard, like when we figure out his whole situation, and they take her to the room, and they talk about his body.
My God. That scene was just...
Oh, okay.
Fully disgusting, yes.
I definitely was reading that one like, okay, I'm getting it. Okay, turn the page. We're just going to read this quickly. We're not going to sit
I'm
here.
not going to linger here.
We're not going to dwell on what every word says. We're just going to get the point.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
That was
gross.
Disgusting.
I'm like reading that in bed like, wait, what did I just read?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I was disgusted at the point where they said she walked in and he was naked in bed. I already was oh, gross.
At that point, I was like, no. And then it just got better.
It just got way better. It's like, no. I have been having loopy dreams because of this book.
Oh,
yeah. It's just been terrible.
Disturbing.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Not quite as graphic as, obviously, the dreams that happen in here, but just putting weird thoughts into my mind. Waking up being like, okay, I'm glad that's a dream. I'm glad that was not.
Oh, God.
My reality.
I read this a while ago, to be honest, and so I know I joked and said I would read it over again, but I did not, I'll be honest. But when I was reading it, I was definitely, I had feelings of like I said, turn of the screw, like you said, Yellow Wallpaper, big time. Also, Haunting of Hill House, which we've discussed on this podcast, for sure. Yeah. But I will say, remember when I told you... So we kind of did the same thing where I read Haunting of Hill House and then you decided to also read it for the podcast, and then we did the same thing with this one. Yeah. I read this and then you're like, oh, I'll read it too and we'll do it for the podcast. And when I had originally told you for Hill House, like, that I was freaked out, and you were like, when you first started reading it, you were like, whatever, Ashley. But then you got to the freaky parts and you were like, oh my God, no, it's actually scary. Yeah. So for this book, I never got to the point where I was personally afraid. Yeah. Like I did with that book. For this one, I was personally disturbed. Yeah. Page turny, like, oh, that's gross. But I did not get to a point where I, like, had to close the book for fear of giving myself, like, a terrible nightmare. So it's interesting to me to hear that you're having, like, maybe not nightmares, but, like, disturbing dreams. Yeah.
I would say, well, I guess it's not disturbed. Like, I'm not seeing, like, black body fluids exposing and mushrooms and mold and bile. That's not in my dreams, but it's just like weird people and weird character, you know, where it's like, I feel like that's probably from the book because she does meet a lot of characters along the way and has people come into her dreams. It's more that side where it's just like, wait, why are you in my dream? I don't know who you are. And this is weird. And like, kind of the same idea, like weird doctors and stuff in there. That was actually a couple nights ago. There's a lot of weird doctors in my dream being like, well, now because you got this and you have this thing. It's like, wait, what? How did one thing, you know, just like things that don't add up together or whatever, but it's like, it's just weird
it's interesting because this book, I think it tackles a lot thematically. Like there's a lot of like distrust of the kind of dichotomy between like quote unquote the medical world and then like the sort of like healer world, you know, this whole like, oh, this is medicine and that's just like folk healing, that's bullshit, that kind of dichotomy. And then of course like big time like distrust of women, like in terms of like their mental health, their autonomy, like their understanding of the world around them. I mean, definitely big themes of, like, some serious disturbing racism. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
Big. Yeah. So, it was like, a lot was tackled in this book. Like, a lot.
I know. As you're listing it out, I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, that was quite a few topics that were covered. Oh my gosh. Yeah, all the stuff about, like, eugenics in the beginning. Yeah. That was a lot. And... yeah, there's a definite huge mistrust of women, like, when the family doctor comes and Noemi's trying to, like, ask the doctor questions, and he keeps being like, okay, I must go, and she's like, you haven't even let me ask 2 questions yet. Yeah. And they just try to, like, blow her off the whole time. Yeah, so I feel like you then realize they're blowing her off because it's way deeper than what she even can think is happening, you know.
Yeah.
But still, there's a lot of mistrust of women.
Totally. Yeah.
And a lot of just like, I don't know if like slut shaming is the right word, but they think of Noemi as like this wild Mexico City woman who is a lot freer with herself and her behaviors, you know, and that they can kind of take advantage of that. Yeah, a lot of it's gross.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and it's interesting because after I read this, I read, for the first time actually, Isabel Allende's In the House of the Spirits. Have you read that?
Yeah, I haven't. I saw that you read that though, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to read that too.
Well, it was kind of interesting to read it afterwards because in a similar fashion, like, there's, like, the male character who, like, takes over this land, builds a giant mansion, and then has the workers who are working on his land. And so, like, in terms of just kind of, like, the structure of, like, the social classes, I think it was reminiscent to me. And so it was really interesting. If you read that one, we should maybe, like, discuss like comparisons or whatever, but I mean, because it's not well, it is supernatural actually too, but in a different way. There's like a mystery. But it was just interesting to look at like how explicitly this book included so much talk about race, because a lot of like what happened with their family, with the Doyles, right, is that they like purposefully were using the locals and you know, purposefully destroying their health, all for the purpose of continuing to grow this magical power mushroom situation. And then the whole thing about like, oh, Noemi, you're so like dark. It was like, you know, your cousin is so white, she's so fair, she's the European side, and you're the indigenous. It was just like very very explicitly about race and class, and color, colorism, which was it was interesting to me to kind of then compare in the House of the Spirits. There's a lot about class, but not as much about specifically like race and color.
Right. Okay. Yeah. As you described them, like maybe I did read it. I think it's in my want to reads as one of those books where I'm like, I don't remember if I read that like in college or something. I will say some of those topics that are discussed in this book, I feel like almost there was so much brought up that it was hard to keep it going throughout the book. Like I almost like, yes, they do all that talking about how she's the darker side and how her cousin is the more European looking almost, and how keeping races pure and all this stuff. And,
gross. Yeah.
But then why do they also think that she's better suited for the family? That I'm confused.
Noemi?
Noemi. Like I'm confused about why they think she'll be a better addition for a wife and for a mother than her cousin if they want to keep like bloodlines and races more pure.
What I got from it was that he was reaching the point where he was like, you like in moving forward into like the future, bringing in your side. You're like, I mean, it plays a lot into like stereotypes of like, you're fiery, you're spicy, you're strong-willed, you're stronger. That was kind of what I got. That they were like, oh, we need to like our bloodline is dying, like out.
I see.
Like we're languishing here in the mountains, and like it's not working. That was kind of what I read as it. But
that
I don't
makes
have
sense.
like an actual. I wish I had like I didn't take any notes, but I'm not sure.
I didn't either. But okay, that does make sense though, because I do kind of. I remember them talking about, like, how he was like, oh, you seem better suited, you're better suited. But I guess, that kind of makes sense what you're saying, that was why.
That's what I got from it, at least.
Yeah. Afterwards, I was like, wait, did we ever figure that out? Also, like, we just never hear from her dad? Like, that seems weird.
Like, yeah, he sent her up there and was just like, okay, like, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there was a point where they sent a fake letter, right?
at the very end.
Yeah.
And I think she sends one letter in the beginning.
Yeah. Which is like, I'm just figuring things out. I'll keep you updated, kind of a thing.
Yeah. So I was just like, I mean, he obviously cares enough to be worried about his niece. Yeah. And wanting to send someone in to check in on her. Doesn't trust the husband. He obviously has enough thought behind him that wants to be a part of this. But then you send your daughter down and you just don't follow up ever again. Like, that seemed really weird to me.
Yeah, thanks, but no thanks, Dad.
Yeah. And, like, you know, I just went kind of with understanding, like, okay, this family clearly controls everything. Maybe the assumption is that even if he does reach out, like, they won't pass that along to her. But
yeah,
I feel like that was me making a very large assumption, you know?
Yeah,
it's like, there's no clues to that, really, in the book. I just was like, well, I'm just going to tell myself that that's what's happening, because this doesn't really make sense.
I feel like there should have been, like, or there could have been, like, some kind of a plot line, a storyline of, like, why he had to be, like, I feel like that was an unclosed loop. Like, there's, that was something that maybe could have been more succinctly, like, clarified for us so that we didn't even have those questions. Because it could have been as simple as, like, they're consistently sending fake letters. Like, that, it could be just, like, as simple as that.
Yeah. Or it could have been another 5-page chapter at the end of when he goes to pick them up.
Yeah,
because he's supposed to be coming, like, the next day.
Yeah.
At the end of the book, and so it could have been an easy conversation, like, I'd been trying to come down to you and they kept turning me away, or I had been writing to you and no one was returning your letter, you know, whatever. That could have been something. Yeah,
and I will say that the whole, like, mythology of the mushroom and the priests and finding it hundreds of years ago and bringing it over was, like, fascinating, but I feel like it came at us really fast.
Yeah.
And it was just all, like, spilling out, like, the backstory. And it was, like, it almost felt like, you know when you get a story that has way too much exposition at the beginning and you're like, it feels like an info dump? That kind of felt like an info dump that was just happening right there. And it was just like, here's all the story. And it was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, it just, I know that there had been hints here and there, but the, like, fullness of the entire backstory felt very sudden to me.
I agree fully. It was definitely, it was not slow. The whole beginning, middle, that part was not slow. Yeah. But if they were going to continue that pace, the book could have been, like, 200 pages longer.
True, that's a very good point, yes.
Everything definitely, like, the whole speed of the book absolutely changed with the info coming out, and I almost had to read, like, it took me longer to finish the last, 50 pages of the book than it did for me to read probably the first 250 pages or whatever, because it was like, okay, wait, so then trying to remember back, like, okay, so then when they went to the cemetery, like, what happened, they were finding what there, and then she was getting lost. I also, there was, this is again just silly in my mind, but the first time she gets lost in the cemetery in the fog and can't find her way out, Francis is like, right, that's his name?
Yes.
Okay. Francis was like, oh, if you just look at the ground, there's little clues or there's signs of how to get out of here. But then at the end, when they're running through everything trying to escape, she's like, does anyone know how to get to the gates? And it's like, he just told you that if you follow the ground, like, there's signs to get out. Like, I was like, why would you bring that up in the eearlier part if you're not going to use that? And then not have it,
that's like a perfect point for her to be like, I remember when Francis said, look at the ground.
I was just like, look at the ground. Like, I know it's a stressful time right now, but, like, you have that in your head.
Yeah, like, why have him have that moment of explaining it if it's not going to come around?
Yeah.
And, like, complete that moment.
I really don't like talking bad about books. Like, I don't...
No, I know.
I don't know why. Not like I'm going to hurt this person's feelings. But,
yeah.
I loved the book. But, yeah, little things like that. I was just like...
Yes. Yes.
Come on, it's right there.
Yes.
Look to the ground.
I mean, I agree with you. I feel like I don't want to, like, shit on the story by any means. Like, I really enjoyed the book, and I don't want to give the impression that I didn't. But, like, sometimes when you just notice those things, it's almost like, I don't know, it's just more like noticing the craft of it, you know?
Right. Totally. Yeah. Have you read any of her other stuff before?
No. Actually, though, I was at Target, which I don't... Embarrassing. The Target book section. But I was at Target for other things, and so I went to the book section, and I saw the one Jade and Shadow. Yeah, wait, Gods of Jade and Shadow. I think that was there, and I almost got it actually because I really did enjoy her writing, and I enjoyed as like you talked about, like the pace was a little bit unmatched, but for even though it started more slowly and then like really really sped up, it still was throughout the whole book like very much a page turner. Like I was still totally it was very very readable. So I would happily read her other stuff for sure.
Yeah, me too. It popped up because like I said, I had this one on my iPad, so it popped up afterwards, suggested to buy that same one that you had just met, the Gods of what was it, Gods of Jade and Shadow. Yeah. Okay. But then I bought a Mindy Kaling book instead.
Ooh, nice.
But yeah, so I was like, okay, well maybe I'll read another one of hers.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah, for sure.
I decided that I'm gonna do it where I buy like a book on my iPad and then I have a real one, because at night, the way my bed is set up, I don't have a light near it.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't really read in bed. So that way I can have like something on my iPad I can read in bed. But then also when I'm like walking around New York and you're gonna go sit at a park, I don't want to like read on my iPad. I'd rather read like
on a book.
Yeah. I'd always rather read a real book, but you know. The ones that I have on my iPad, like then I'm bummed that I can't have it on my bookshelf. It's like, I mean, no offense to Mindy Kaling, I love her, but her books are like just fun, like goofy books to read, you know. It will probably not be one that I want to pull out again and like be like, what happened here? And probably not one that I like want to take notes in or like put a post-it note in, you know. So like that's why I didn't end up buying. That's a whole long way to say that's why I did not buy that book on my iPad. I bought the Mindy Kaling instead. I'm a really good storyteller, and I have a lot of human interaction where I can tell these stories to people, so I have a lot of practice.
You're really good. You're really
Thank you. I've often been told I'm a very bad storyteller. Which is great for being a creative writing teacher.
Well, none of us have had like very good. Not none of us in the whole world, but a lot of us have not had a lot of practice with those general social interactions this year.
Yeah, it's tough. What can you do?
Yeah, I would say that is not my strong suit right now. I am very, very awkward.
Me too. I feel like I just am babbling. Because I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, ooh, I think I told you way too much. Okay.
I've had an interesting situation where, like, there are some coworkers that I've been, like, consistently doing happy hour with, like, over the course of this whole pandemic, but, like, virtual happy hour.
Yeah.
But, like, I didn't, like, super duper know them before. Like, I went to physical happy hour with them literally on March 13th, 2020. Like, the last day of school that I went to last year, I went with them to a happy hour. And it was, like, a very much, like, things are weird. Like, let's do a happy hour. Which afterwards I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I went to a happy hour on that day. Like, I'm the worst.
I know.
But, so I didn't, like, know them that well. Oh, no, maybe I went to, like, maybe that was, like, the second happy hour I went to. But either way.
Yeah.
Like, colleagues that I didn't know super duper well, but over the course of this year, I've got to know a lot more, but in the virtual space. And so now, when I see them in real life, it feels a little bit like, oh, we're friends, but like,
Yeah.
we're friends virtual. No, we're friends in real life. It was just,
Yeah.
it was kind of weird when I saw like one of those coworkers. I was like, oh my God, this is like I'm not used to this. You know, I'm used to like seeing you on a screen versus like my coworkers and friends who I was already like comfortable with in person for all this.
I will say this, welcome to online dating.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's what it's like pre-COVID. That's just like the awkwardness of online dating. You're talking with someone online for, you know, a day, 3 weeks, 2 months, and then you meet up with them. And you're like, I awkwardly know your life story already, but hello, my name is Olivia. What's up?
That's so right. I've never experienced that.
I know.
I'm an old maid.
I thought you were going to say, because I'm an old man. It's like,
I'm an old man.
I did not know this about you. Okay. Cool. Good to know.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
I know you're unaware of the online dating world, but that's exactly how it feels regardless.
That's so funny. Yeah. Well, it feels weird. I feel your pain.
Yeah, it's definitely odd. That was one of the reasons I'm very glad I didn't end up having to get a roommate out here. So like, I'm just gonna I was just messaging strangers on Facebook being like, I see you have a room available. Can my cat and I move in? Like, hopefully you're not a murderer. I listen to too many crime podcasts. Okay.
Yeah, because it's like, that's already awkward enough, but on top of it, there is a deadly virus. You know?
I know. Oh my God, I was not looking forward to that part at all. Like, well, we're gonna hope for the
Thankfully,
best,
you've got
I
a really
guess.
good situation, though.
Yeah, minus the cockroach.
Oh yeah, you do have a roommate.
I do have a roommate. But Burrito ate its wings off, so...
Does that mean Burrito likes it? Or Burrito, like, is that a sign of, like, you're my best friend? Or is that a sign of I hate you?
I think Burrito is too afraid to actually kill insects. Like, he's played with, like, flies and stuff before. Yeah. But I think he tries to play with them. And then he'll, like, pick it up like it's his friend or something. And he's picking it up by the scruff. But then he just, like, eats their wings and legs off. And then they're just like... Thanks, mister. You might as well kill me now, because I'm living in a world of pain.
What, like, extraterrestrials would do with us.
Yeah, just like,
boop, 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 boop. Let's play. Whoops, I pulled off your head. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. I think you're right. Burrito's staring at me through my mirror from his bed, like, why are you talking about me like that?
He's like, Mom, I did not give you permission to tell her today.
You better have her cut that out of the podcast, Mom. Oh my God. Half a White Claw. Doing good.
Woo! I made it to basically the end of my heart smoothie, but there's like foam at the bottom, like coconut. You know, like pina colada foam?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Which sounds gross, but it's good, I promise.
Yeah, it's like, I always think like, oh, I don't mind White Claws. And then I get through like half of one, I'm like, I don't want this anymore.
Does it have real sugar in it, or does it have fake sugar?
It does have real sugar.
Okay.
Cane sugar, so that's good.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it has a fake sugar taste.
That's weird.
Yeah. And then the new 70-calorie White Claw is fake sugar.
Oh,
and half the alcohol content. That's why it's... like, way less calories. These are already 5%.
I want the alcohol, and I'll take the calories. Like, I want the alcohol.
Also, these are only 100 calories. So you're only losing 30 calories to be half the alcohol and fake sugar? No, thank you.
Wait, so it's 3.5%?
Yeah.
That's so silly. Like, that's nothing. What does that accomplish?
I have no idea.
It's like, I have a very low tolerance, and even for me, that would be, like, nothing, I think.
Yeah. No, it's silly. I mean, just drink, like, a wine spritzer or something.
Right,
you know?
Exactly. Just drink, like, a kombucha. You'll probably get more of a buzz.
Yeah, that's true. It's a great point, yeah. Not even the spiked kombucha.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you remember that weird moment in time of kombucha where first kombuchas all came out, and then there was that panic where it was like, they have alcohol, and so you had to be 21 to buy all kombuchas, and then now they're at the point where they have, like, separated them into, like, this one has a little bit more.
Do you know why they did that? Because of Lindsay Lohan. She claimed that one of her DUIs was because she drank kombucha.
Oh my god.
And so they made it so that you had to be 21 to buy kombucha.
Lindsay, girl, please.
I'm like 97% positive that's the main reason why.
So she threw the rest of us under the bus, basically.
Yeah, I remember being like 16 and having to ask my dad to go buy me kombuchas from the store. Or, I don't know, maybe I was 18 at that time, whatever. But being not 21, being like, Dad, can you buy me a kombucha?
Oh my god, that's so funny. Oh my god. Wow,
yeah.
thanks,
really
Lindsay.
Scandalous. Yeah.
Rude. That's just rude.
I know.
Wait, do you remember when Palms used to come in that cool tall glass? You remember I used to have those at my house?
Yeah. Those are cool.
They're all gone now.
Aw. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Okay, a pour one out for the palm.
Oh man. Okay, so speaking of things that are all gone, I've somehow lost my only fork because I still don't have all my stuff here. And so I bought like, you know, one of those like kits that you can take to lunch or whatever. It has like a fork, a knife, a spoon, chopsticks, and a straw.
Yes.
I've lost the fork for about 3 weeks now. I can't find it, so I'm eating everything with chopsticks. And I finally got the courage to go down to, like, the Goodwill to see if they had, like, I just buy one fork, because I have stuff coming to me.
Yeah.
They have nothing. And
what?
so I
they
went
don't
into,
have forks?
No. They have, like, 7 clear glass vases and, like, a coffee mug.
That's the saddest Goodwill I've ever heard of.
I know. And so then there's a TJ Maxx under the bridge, and so I went TJ Maxx. They don't have forks.
Wait,
they have 1,000 spatulas.
There's a TJ Maxx under the bridge.
It is under the bridge.
Under the bridge.
Under the bridge. Under the bridge downtown.
And they have no forks? What kind of a TJ Maxx is this?
I don't know. They had 1 billion spatulas. I'm not even exaggerating.
You should eat with
no
a spatula.
forks. I could. There's like 2 restaurants on either corner right outside my house, and I'm so tempted to just like snag some silverware off the table, but every time I walk by, there's like a server out there. And it's like, oh, come on.
Oh my god, that's like such a move I would have done at like 17. Like, why was I so interested in swiping shit for a while? Like, remember the hot sauce from
I was about to say, I just remember you got me that hot sauce. I was like, oh, I love this stuff. And then later you're like,
like, why? Why was that bringing me such joy?
It was also funny because we were like still right outside the restaurant. I was like, Ashley, put that back in your shirt.
Yeah, very chill about it. Has it been 7 years? Is the statute of limitations over? Can I renounce it to the world now?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. At least, right? Okay, wait. There was a lot of murder in that book.
Yeah. I just still can't, like, get the image of, like, the bile kiss out of, like, that was just so bad. It was so gross.
Yep, that's gonna be in there forever.
Yeah. Exactly. It's stuck in my brain.
And all the incest.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, that was really disturbing. Oh,
all
yeah, that's another big theme that came out.
Yeah.
I didn't mention that one earlier.
I mean, I feel like that's sort of a common
eugenics
topic. Yeah, that comes hand in hand with, like, keeping...
Yeah.
bloodlines pure. I mean, that's like the whole royal family thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, Elizabeth and Philip, cousins.
Yeah. Oh, gross. Gross.
Wait, did you see this TikTok? Did we send this to each other? I'm sure. The one about the girl who was with her boyfriend and got an ancestry.
Yes.
And found out they were like first cousins or something.
Oh, so bad. That's literally one of my worst fears, not knowing a big part of my family.
Oh, no.
That, like, there's going to be a mystery sibling out there or a mystery cousin that I don't know.
You're like, I just feel this magnetism somehow.
Oh, God. It's so bad. Guess it's a good thing I'm in New York now. They're probably not out here.
Yeah. They
They
might
all
have had
pretty
the same
much
impulse.
Yeah, that's true. I gotta get away from a mystery sibling. I'm really scared about that.
Yeah, that could be very... I mean, that couple in that TikTok, they broke up because of it. I mean, not because of it, but because of it.
You would have to break up with them immediately. I don't think I'd be able to look at the person the same way afterwards.
What if you didn't realize it until you were, like, married? Or what if you didn't realize it until you had a kid?
I think you'd realize it when you had a kid.
Yeah, if they had to do blood tests.
And there's often a lot more, like...
But they don't do Ancestry. They don't, like, do 23andMe.
No, but your kid is, like, more likely to develop serious, like, health problems and stuff, right?
I don't think it's from, like, I think it's if there's been a lot of intermixing. Not to, like, make an argument in favor of cousin marrying, but...
Not to justify.
I don't think it's, like, the first... I think it's, like, if the cousins then marry, and then their kids, cousin... You know, I think it's, like, a few, like, generations.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm not an expert on this. That's...
Nor am I. Why don't I ask my psychology professor on Tuesday?
There you go. Yeah, you just be like, I have a really important question. Your teacher's like, any questions, anybody? Yes, actually.
Yeah,
actually. I have some really pressing matters.
It's creepy on so many levels. I'm just like,
yeah, no. All bad.
No. I was close with my first cousin on my dad's side growing up, and I did used to say I was going to marry cousin Phil when I grew up. And my mom was like, nope. That's not how it works. You are not. That's your cousin.
That's hilarious.
I would like to say I was like 4. I didn't quite know what that all meant. I just knew that people who were married loved each other and were friends. And I was like,
you get to hang out all the time.
Perfect. I love hanging out with my cousin. Why not?
Oh my god.
So terrible. So terrible. That's so gross.
I love that this book has got us on this conversation.
Oh my god. So gross. Yeah. There was so much in this book. They literally hit every topic.
Yeah. Yeah. This book is not for, like, if you are faint of stomach.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. And, yeah, there's a lot of storyline to keep up with.
True. Yes.
They could be dealing with anything at any given point.
Yeah.
Racism, sexism, incest,
Yep.
mushrooms, wallpaper.
Not
fog.
yellow, though. Not yellow.
Not yellow. But it did have a golden hue.
True. That's true. I guess that is
when the
yellow.
mushrooms would move, yeah.
Yeah, she had to have had some inspiration from the Yellow Wallpaper, 100%. Like, I cannot imagine not having Yellow Wallpaper inspiration. No.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I wonder if it was on purpose, though, or if it was, like, a subconscious reference.
Yeah. Like, it just was, like, in the psyche.
She was like, already. You know what? I have a great idea. It's
yeah.
going to have to do with this wallpaper and this woman. And no one's going to believe her, and she's going to have a fit of hysterics. I got it. I did look up the Yellow Wallpaper again before we talked today, because I was like, okay, wait, now am I imagining all the similarities, or, like, because I haven't read that since freshman year, I think, sophomore year of college.
Like over a decade ago.
Yeah. And so I, like, looked it up again, and that was an intense story.
Yeah.
That's the moral of the story. And she just, like, it was creepy for being written in the 1800s of this woman just like crawling around the room in a circle over her husband's body. Like,
yeah, it's fucking
So
disturbing.
creepy. What's with these people's minds? How do they do this? So wild. Yeah, I would like to, though, look up to see if there's any discussion that she has about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If, like, she's talked about her references for the book or her, like, what she was thinking about while writing it.
Well, if we find any links, we'll put them in the show notes.
There you go.
There you go.
Any other last thoughts? I feel like when we start rambling about incest, we should probably end the discussion about the book.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut some of that out.
I think that's wise. I think that's very smart.
But to wrap it up, it's an enjoyable page turner, turn pager.
Yeah.
It's an enjoyable page turner for sure. Yeah. I would say this is the kind of book where you could totally, like, throw it in your bag if you're going on vacation, and you will finish it by the time you get back. If people are people going on vacation? If people are starting to go on vacation.
Yeah. Or for your train commute, you know?
Train commute, yep.
Not something that you have to deep pay attention to, but you kind of do. There's some...
Yeah.
But it's a good train book. And I would totally recommend this to somebody. I'd pass it on.
Yes.
To somebody who is looking for a good, quick read. I was going to say a good light read. It's not light, like lighthearted. That's not...
Just a light...
Correct.
Incest read. Incest... Racism, sexism, classism, colorism.
Bile. Bile, vomit.
Yeah, light read about
boil,
some body snatching.
Yeah.
Wait, but okay,
Total
so
light read.
It occurred to me that we read books and we never talk about ratings. Because I started listening to the Bechdel Cast, which is like a podcast about films, and at the end they always like rate what they would rate it, and we don't do that. Do we want
That's
to?
True.
Do we not want to? Like, I mean, there is, like, I know we don't, I think I speak for both of us when it's, like, we don't want to, like, be rude to authors, especially living authors, because, like...
Yeah, especially, like, women authors.
Right, especially women authors, especially, like, people of color.
Yeah. TBH, if it was, like, all white men, I'd be like, yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah, I would rate it. No question. Maybe... I would rate this 1 yellow wallpaper.
I would agree with that. This gets 1 yellow wallpaper. Which is not low.
No, the Yellow Wallpaper is a great short story. It's like a classic.
Yeah, that's not a low rating.
I feel like that's not even a rating. I almost wanted to say, like, I will raise you 1 yellow wallpaper. It's a bet, actually.
Right. Oh my god. Yeah.
Rating is hard. Rating is difficult.
It's so hard. But I think out of 5, I would give it 3.5 because great page turner, interesting. The story was interesting. There's a lot there. But then there's all the discrepancies that, like, we both brought up.
Yeah. I feel the same.
That if some of those things were brought back around or continued throughout, I would have given a higher scoring. I don't know. Well, why don't we do this? Maybe if we have any listeners out there.
Yes.
Do you want us to rate books?
Oh, yeah.
Are you interested in hearing what we would rate it on a scale of 1 to 5 yellow wallpapers? What do you want to know?
Wait, if it's up to 5 yellow wallpapers, I wouldn't rate this a 1 yellow wallpaper.
Yeah.
I would rate it a 3.5 yellow wallpapers.
If it was up to 5 yellow wallpapers, I would be very scared to read that book.
Yeah, a 5 yellow wallpapers book would be fucking terrifying. Because I feel like The Haunting of Hill House is like maybe a 3.5, 4 yellow wallpapers in terms of scare factor.
Yeah, I don't think I have the mental capacity for a 5 yellow wallpaper.
I love how the yellow wallpaper scale has just become like the scare scale, the freaky scale. Like disturbing scale.
Yeah.
Maybe, that's making me feel like we should read some scary books soon.
Maybe, I mean, it's a few months out already, but
yeah.
like November, October.
Ooh, yeah.
We can do some scary.
Yeah. I like it.
December, we could do Christmas books. Are there Christmas and like Hanukkah books? Is that a thing?
Yeah, but are they worth reading? I don't know.
We could read Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Yes.
We could read...
Wait, we need to create a Patreon and then just have us reading 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
Yes.
Patrons get access to our reading.
Every time I hear people say like, oh, and then on the Patreon we can do this, I wonder if people would sign up for our Patreon.
Well, okay, send us some messages. Do you want us to do a rating system? Would you sign up if we had a Patreon and did goofy, weird shit on it?
Yeah. We could do...
And if not, no worries, no stress. But do please get out there and review us, people. Like, we need some reviews.
Please. Oh, yeah, please. We do.
We haven't mentioned that in a long time, but our review game is a little sad.
Yeah, we do need reviews. Also, I feel like if anyone is listening to this, I feel like I know a lot of people who have said, yeah, I definitely want to jump on your podcast and be a guest in one of these books.
Yeah.
And then we put that out there. And then none of y'all said, okay, this one.
Yeah.
So.
We still have a few on that list.
So woe is us. And
yeah. Put your money where your mouth is, drunkers.
Yeah. I know you're all drunk, but come on.
Yeah. Come on. Drunk dial us. At least give us some juice. Juice? Goss? I don't know what I was saying.
Give us the tea.
Yeah.
Next, we are reading Difficult Women.
Yes, by
Roxane Gay. Yes. Which is our second Roxane Gay book.
We're fans.
We are fans. I'm also a fan of her friendship with Seth Rogen.
And Samantha Irby, right? Aren't they fans? Am I mixing people up?
Are they? I don't know.
I think they are.
I love it. I love that Seth Rogen is friends with lots of cool people. It makes him even cooler. But yeah, so we're reading Difficult Women.
Yep.
And then after that, we're reading Shrill.
Yep.
By Lindy West.
Yep.
So if you want to be on the podcast.
Yeah. If you have book suggestions, if you want to join us for a conversation, if you want to rate us on your whatever you listen to us on, if you want to have us do ratings, let us know. If you would subscribe and become a patron if we did goofy shit for patrons, would you join it? We have a lot of asks this episode.
And we could add all of our ramblings that we do onto the Patreon. We could read
There's a
Christmas
lot cut.
stories.
Y'all should know.
Yeah. These conversations are usually about 3 hours long and get cut down to like 45 to an hour.
Yeah, I try to keep it between like 40 and 60.
Yeah. So there's lots of options. We could just tell you how beautiful you are on our Patreon.
Ooh, and you could win used books.
Yeah, totally. You could win used
we
books.
Have shelves that can, at least I have shelves that could do with some clearance.
So you can win books.
You can win books.
Okay.
Yeah, we're creating this as we speak.
Yeah.
All of these.
So run through this rambling that we just did and let us know if you want any of that by emailing us at drunktothebook@gmail.com, going to our Instagram at drunktothebook, Twitter at drunktothebook, drunktothebook.com.
Yep.
And we're both on Goodreads.
Yeah. Oh, and I last episode I put onto YouTube. Like I literally just like put the sounds on YouTube because apparently people listen to podcasts on YouTube. I don't know what that is, but check us out on YouTube. I didn't know
that. Okay, cool. Perfect. And on YouTube.
Yeah.
Cool. If you're out on the book.
And you wanna get a book. Oh, and if you're an audio person, help us record our song.
Oh my god.
Where you book, we will book.
Any book. that you book.
Yeah. That's
Oh
really
man, I feel like we should make a video of us singing it with our dance moves and put that on YouTube.
Oh, hell yeah. Patrons?
There you go.
Hit us up, friends. Let's get reading. All you have to do is type in drunk of the book, and you'll find us
Where you lead, we will be there.
anywhere that you want us to.